What's up, guys? Jeff here. Just doing a random Q&A with some topics that have been of discussion or been asked for me to answer. Some of those things have been questions on compression sleeves, if they're good or not, or what my take on them is. Supplements, when it comes to something that's just been reported from some of the bigger companies, which is supplement protein spiking. The importance of tracking your workouts as well as your food, and just overall journaling, hitting singles, as well as training in the morning versus afternoon, and the effects on that, or the potential upsides, downsides. Plus, if you are on this, feel free to comment and with any questions you might have, and I can get those answered for you. So let's start with training in the morning versus afternoon. This is a topic that a lot of people ask me because some people just don't have a schedule or whatnot. Now, your schedule will dictate if you're going to be training in the morning or the afternoon. However, I prefer to train mid-morning, so I typically train about 10 a.m. So, first, let me tell you the hindrances of training in the morning and training at night. First, training in the morning is going to be a little bit more challenging overall, especially if you have just woken up, gotten out of bed, and came to the gym. The reason for this is because your body's not awake yet. You've been in this laying down position for multiple hours, and basically your synovial fluid in your spine and your joints and muscles have not opened and expanded, and kind of synovial fluid hasn't flown all over your body. What this means is that training in the morning does produce a higher level of risk overall for injury when it comes to very, very heavy loaded training. However, if you do a proper warm-up, whatnot, you can train effectively in the morning with no issues. However, I don't like to train in the morning just because it's harder for me. However, training at nighttime is the downsides of training at night is that your schedule is going to be more susceptible to changes, where things might come up, activities, events, meetings, things of that nature, that are going to stop you from actually being able to consistently come in and train, possibly. So you do run that risk. Also, if you're someone like me who does take pre-workout, taking pre-workout at night is a little bit harder because it's harder to fall asleep after. So it's kind of a catch-22 on that. Now, benefits of training in the morning. First benefit is people that train in the morning tend to be more consistent. The reason for this is because it starts your day off, and you, like I mentioned for the afternoon issue, you don't have the issue of meetings coming up, activities, outings, things with friends. And it also will help you kind of maintain or get more energy throughout the day. So training in the morning actually helps people become more productive at work during the day, and also gives you a higher energy level throughout the day. So it is beneficial to train in the morning because you're, one, going to be more consistent more often than not. You're also going to have a higher energy level, and you've already gotten the workout out of the way early in the morning, so that means you don't have to worry about it later on. You get it out of the way first thing in the morning. Also, by starting the day with a training session, you put yourself in a positive groove loop, which means that your actions through the rest of the day are going to be more in alignment with that positive action that you took in the morning, which was training. However, if you push it to the afternoon, you're now going to have to overcome some of the negatives that you might have happen in the morning. So if you train in the morning, most likely you're going to make a positive breakfast decision or positive lunch decision. However, if you train in the afternoon, you might wake up and have a bagel that otherwise you might have had an omelet. So the actions that you take do get tweaked based on when you do train. Okay, so starting training in the morning will give you a positive energy levels. It'll get it out of the way faster. You're going to be more consistent, and it's also going to help you keep positive actions throughout the day. Now, benefit of evening workouts, sometimes energy levels are higher for some people. You're also going to be more awake. So that's something that I struggle with training in the morning. So you're going to be more awake by training in the afternoon. You're going to probably have a little bit more time available if you are able to get your training session. This is because you don't have to go to work, you don't have appointments or anything like that. So you have a little bit more free time. You have already worried about the stress of the day, so you don't have to worry about anything else. So you're not waking up working out with stress about what you're going to do in the day. You've already done it. Now you get to just focus on your workout, so that is a benefit. And yeah, that's basically the pluses and minuses of morning training versus afternoon training or night training in my mind, and kind of going forward for people. I do recommend morning training overall, but based on schedules and kind of your own body type, afternoon training might be effective for you. As I mentioned, afternoon training is my preference, or mid morning, more because my body is awake. I've opened up, I've stood up, I've got blood flow around my body. My spinal fluid and stuff is distributed better, and I run lack of injuries a lot better that way. However, again, training in the morning does lead to positive outcomes throughout the day. And training at night also does as well, but you do have the risk of meetings, things that come up that will hinder your ability to stay consistent at points. Okay, so next topping point, compression sleeves. So someone asked me, what are my thoughts are on compression sleeves. Compression sleeves they're good and they're bad. The reason I say they're good is because they do what they're supposed to, and that's compress nerves or nerves or muscles. Typically, you're compressing on a nerve or muscle ending, which basically relieves the pressure that it might be putting on joints or the muscle itself. So it does work. However, it's kind of like a cast, and what it is doing is it's kind of band-aiding the boo-boo that you have instead of fixing the problem. So while I do say compression sleeves are helpful, if you can avoid using them, I definitely avoid using them overall, because they're not going to give you so much of an increase in performance. However, it will reduce pain at points. However, if you have pain and issues and you need to use a compression sleeve, most likely your better option would be to work on joint mobility, some muscle relaxation, stretching, mobility work there, and that will help you overall, versus trying to basically put a band-aid on the boo-boo, which is using a compression sleeve. Now again, if you're in a competitive sport, you're doing, like, let's say you were performing in the CrossFit games, where you have to perform on this day, and no matter what, you have to figure it out, then yes, I would assign a compression sleeve if we needed that. However, that's because we don't have time and you're in a sport. If we're just daily training, I would recommend the mobility work, the joint mobility, the muscle stretching, and myofascial release, so that's foam rolling or massage. That would be a better alternative, and then using the compression sleeve as basically like a slight assistant when necessary. Okay? So next topic, basically, if you've been paying attention to some of the news, I'm in this business, so I see a lot more posts about it than other people. But if you have been paying attention, something has been happening lately with supplement companies, and because supplement companies are an unregulated field, they don't have to follow certain procedures or give validation. So what happens is, they can kind of mix whatever the hell they want into their supplements, their proteins, whatever. And lately, they've been doing a lot of testing on protein powders, and have come to the conclusion, well, not come to the conclusion, but all their tests and studies have found that a lot of the higher name companies, you might have heard recently, like Muscle Farm has just been reported doing this. Muscle Farm, Muscle Milk, Dymatize, a couple others of the bigger, BNC, which has Syntha 6. They've all been reported to be doing this, and what they are doing it's called protein spiking. So if you look at the back of a supplement, that supplement has kind of the I don't have anything here, but they have the nutritional facts on it, and it might say 26 grams of protein or 36 grams of protein or something. Well, what has been happening with these supplement companies is they've been doing something called protein spiking, and protein spiking means that they really might only be giving you about 12, 14 grams of protein per serving, and then spiking the rest by using BCAAs. BCAAs are branch chain amino acids, which combine together complete or make protein. Okay, so I don't remember exactly the number. It's like 21 or 23 BCAAs are used, and to make a complete protein, it's like 26. I don't remember the exact number, so don't quote me on that. However, it's around that number. And what this means is that if I have 23 BCAAs, I've got a good amount of the substance in a protein. However, I don't have the additional 2 to 3 amino acids that are required to complete a protein chain. So now I've just got BCAAs. Well, what they're doing is they're basically spiking their proteins with BCAA, which is causing their protein readings to go up higher. However, it's not truly there, so you're not actually getting the protein that you're getting. So you want to be careful with some of the proteins that you're choosing and selecting at the point right now, especially since some of this new stuff has been released. Some recommendations I have for protein that are still on the good side that haven't been reported yet are Optimum Nutrition. I like their stuff a lot, so I usually recommend Gold Standard Whey or their egg protein, or even their casein protein's good. Another one that I recommend highly is Isopure. They have a regular Isopure, a low carb Isopure, and a no carb Isopure. So a lot of good choices there, plus great tasting. Obviously, I already mentioned Muscle Farms out. Muscle Milk's out. A lot of the brands that you might get from Costco are currently out. Cytomax, I think, is one of them as well. And then, so back to proteins that I do recommend. First Form, the #1 STPHORM, First Form. They have a really nice protein blend that's good, that I'd recommend. Otherwise, other than that, I recommend just kind of trying stuff that fits what you're looking for. So either casein, whey, or egg, and just staying away from those main brands right now that I said earlier, and that way you're actually getting your protein consumption in. Now another topic is the importance of tracking, right? If you wanted to figure out your finances and get better at how you spend your money, or where you spend your money, or saving money, you'd probably have to take a record of your accounts, your bills, all that sort of stuff. The reason for this is because you need to be able to see what you're doing and what you're not doing to make adjustments. The same thing occurs with the importance of tracking your workouts as well as your food. This is because a lot of times we'll be in a groove of training, and we won't ever, if you're not tracking, you don't see where you're making improvements. You also don't see how you could be making improvements, okay? Or also what you did last week. You're just kind of going off memory, and you're not really trying to improve. You're just kind of going with the motions. So I definitely recommend everybody keeps a nutrition log where you're keeping all the food that you're eating, because especially if you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, it's important that you have this information so you can manipulate it and adjust it to go in the direction that you want, right? Again, one of the hardest jobs I have is helping people with nutrition who don't keep a food log. It's because I have no true understanding of what you're consuming and what you're doing to make the right corrections and go the right way. Because a lot of times we don't pay attention to what we truly are doing, and we sometimes will have slip-ups. So I like to track my nutrition. I try and have every member that I coach with do that as well. It gives you a better understanding of what you're taking in, consuming, good, bad, ugly, and what you're doing that's either leading to a negative or positive outcome in regards to your results. The other thing I like to track is my workouts and performance. This allows me to continually improve and keep track of kind of how I'm training, how I'm performing, and how I'm feeling. So what I track is my weights that I might use, my reps that I'll be performing, how I'm feeling. This allows me to manipulate my training as well, because if I know that I did push press for, say I did a 115-pound push press last week for 15 reps, and this week I did it for 17, I now can see that I got stronger based on my journal alone, and can make an adjusted tweak to my training to where I'm increasing my weight or increasing my reps for a specific amount of weight and getting a lot more out of it. I'm also seeing my true capability and continually stepping up the ladder of improvement versus just trying to basically just staying the same, because you don't really know where you were last week, what you did last week, how you performed, or even how you performed compared to a similar or same workout and a few weeks or months ago. So by tracking it, you actually do see that. From there, let's see what else I got on the agenda today. Another kind of really one of my favorite things to talk about is I call it hitting singles, right? Hitting singles means if we were in baseball, the most important person on the team is the person that can get on base. Okay? While the people that hit home runs are awesome to watch, they're very fun, the most important person on the team is the one that can hit the ball every time, or as the most often on the team that can hit the ball and get on base. Why I use this analogy is because with everything you do, you can shoot for hitting a home run and strike out a good amount, or you can focus on hitting singles and trying to load the bases. So if you know baseball, there's 3 bases. After they're all loaded, if the next person hits the ball and can get someone to move off the base, someone's going to score. So instead of focusing on always swinging for home runs, think about trying to swing for singles. And singles are not worrying about the large scale, like let's say you have 10 pounds to lose. Swinging for a home run is only focusing on losing 10 pounds. But swinging singles in regards to weight loss is focusing on losing 1 pound, right? If I can lose 1 pound or 2 pounds, I've gotten myself on base. Now I need to lose another pound to 2 pounds, and I've moved myself to second base and loaded the first 2 bases. And I continue that process until I get to 8 pounds or such. At that point, the next time I lose weight, I've now loaded my bases and I've scored. First trying to just swing for the home run. That's the same thing, I call it hitting singles when it comes to training, right? We oftentimes get kind of overwhelmed and frustrated because we can't hit 7 times in a week or 5 times in a week. But hitting singles when it comes to training just means coming in twice a week instead of focusing on hitting. If you can't come in 5 times a week, you skip the gym altogether. It would be better for you to come in 2 or 3 times, or the most you can that week, than skipping it altogether because you can't be successful with your 5 times, okay? So think about where you can have little successes, where you can hit singles, and where you can get on base, and basically start loading those bases until you start to score your goals and your results, all right? What else do I have on this? If you're on here, you feel free to ask any questions as well. I have so many things saved. Oh, so yeah, basically I'm just going to sum this up right there. I've got some other cool stuff coming later this week for you guys, but hopefully I kind of answer some questions about why it's important to hit singles, understanding when the best time is to train in the morning or night. Also answering questions about compression sleeves or uses of those, supplements, understanding what protein spiking is and who to avoid currently, the importance of tracking and journaling your workouts and whatnot. Otherwise, yeah, that's the talk for today. Feel free to ask any questions and comments, and I'll try and get those answered for you guys. Take care.